This is probably you if you've checked your investments today. Because right now, everything is soaring. This is gold. Today just hit a brand new all-time high. Silver flirting with a new all-time high, about to break out of a 50-year cup and handle pattern. Bitcoin just put in a new all-time high this weekend and might hit it again today. And the stock market is going absolutely parabolic. But what if I told you those assets aren't so much as pumping, it's your dollar that is crashing. And to see if the dollar is crashing, we got to look at the DXY chart. Now, the DXY is just a measure of the value of the US dollar against a weighted basket of currencies. This is the basket of currencies right here. You can see Japanese yen, 13%, British pound, 11%, Canadian dollars are in there, but the euro is the majority of this, coming in at 57%. So it measures the dollar against this basket of currencies. And when you look at the dollar against that basket of currencies, you see that it is declining. So gold is at an all-time high, but it's measured in a dollar that's losing more and more value. Now, I wanted to point out something on the DXY chart because I think we're about to go even lower with the value of the dollar. This is the last time we saw a major decline in the value of the dollar. This was 291 days. And if you keep scrolling beyond that, you'll see another decline that lasted 291 days. And if the DXY keeps dropping for 290 days, that will be right on October 31st. But when I was going over the DXY data, this is the data point that stood out to me. I noticed that we also had a large decline. It lasted about 1 year exactly. But I noticed the date. The date was right around when Trump stepped into the presidency. Trump's first day in his first term was towards the tail end of January in 2017. I don't want to say that date. I'll get hit with the YouTube censor. So go ahead and smash that like. Help me out here. But measured from January 23rd, it would fall significantly over the next year. So it's just an interesting coincidence because this kind of shows you Donald Trump does not care about the DXY falling, doesn't care about the US dollar falling. What he cares about is whether or not your assets are going up. And I think that's fair to say because he's always championing how the US stock market's at an all-time high, and he takes credit for that. But the dollar's decline is even worse when you look carefully here. This is actually the worst year on record since 1973, so the dollar hasn't lost this much value in 50 years. In fact, a lot of people are saying this is signaling a generational macroeconomic shift. Now, a lot of this is coming from the Kobayashi letter. In the thread that article references, there is a widespread rush into assets that is happening right now. As inflation rebounds and the labor market weakens, the Fed is cutting rates, and now the USD is on the track for its worst year since 1973. So far this year, the dollar has lost 10% of its value. And when you look at all of the last 50 years next to each other, you can see 2025 has been dismal for the dollar. But this generational macroeconomic shift should not be discounted. This is not something to take lightly. The reason why, our debt is soaring right now. U.S. national debt is now rising by $6 billion every single day. And our U.S. debt is projected to hit $50 trillion within a decade. And if you look, it should pass $38 trillion within the next 20 days. So the dollar is losing value, it's being debased, and that's why JP Morgan is touting Bitcoin and gold as the debasement trade amid increased uncertainty in the US dollar. And Ray Dalio, one of the world's most famous macro investors, he's the founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, he recommended a few months ago that investors allocate 15% of your portfolio in assets like Bitcoin or gold to optimize the best return to risk ratio. I want to give a quick shout out to L Bank Exchange. It is my favorite exchange to get all of the latest trading pairs, all of the hottest meme coins and altcoins. You can go to the spot trading or you could do futures perpetual trading. And we have a link down below with the tutorial on the top of our page. Tons and tons of features here, 24/7 customer support, huge reach here, huge volume, millions of users, and they have over 200 countries and regions covered. So go ahead, open up an account, deposit some funds, and start your trading journey. But I want to show you some in the Bitcoin charts because we need to know how to trade this. Is Bitcoin all-time high? Is it time to sell? Should you wait for it to cool off, jump back into the markets? Well, we reported on the RSI being deeply oversold on the 4-hour. We pointed out the bullish divergence that was forming here, and then Bitcoin went on a really, really good run. But the question is, what happens next? So you can see here, Bitcoin bottomed out, nice pump, starting to curve over. We're seeing the RSI starting to curve over. But to see what happens next, well, we got to see what happened last time. So I noticed last time that we had the RSI equally oversold and had a bullish divergence was April 2025. You can see it right here. Bitcoin went on a nice run, but wait, let me show you this. Bitcoin would pump about 15%, so around 13% consolidation. Well, if we go to today, Bitcoin also pumped a similar amount. Bitcoin pumped right around that 13%. And so if we go back to the last time, Notice that it consolidated right around 14%, but then Bitcoin would go on to do another leg up, consolidate, and another leg up, consolidate, followed by a final leg up. And so if you measure the entirety of the move, Bitcoin would end up climbing 50% over the next month and a half. And so this might just be the beginning of things to come. We might be pumping 50%. Now, I think it would be diminished slightly, 30, 40%, but I'd be very happy with that. So 15% here, 50% pump, you're looking at $165,000 Bitcoin. Very, very bullish. Even if we only, quote unquote, only pump 30%, you're still looking at above 140K. So the reason you're seeing everything pump is your dollar is losing value. Does not seem like it's going to slow down. And last time Trump came in, it dumped for an entirety of a year. And right now, the DXY has only been falling for about 270 days. So I would not be selling everything right now. I would not be taking too many profits unless you got in really, really cheap. I'm DZ for Discover Crypto, and I'll see you with your precious metals, your stocks, your crypto at the top.